Good afternoon. Welcome to Interesting Talks with Footprints. I hope that your glass is half full rather than half empty and that you're in a really, really good place today. If your glass is feeling half empty, don't forget you can always top it up no matter what circumstances you're going through. Today's talk is going to be on comfortable situations leading to uncomfortable conversations. So that's comfortable situations leading to uncomfortable conversations. This has come up time and time and time again throughout my life, time and time again recently with clients, and it happens in my personal life and anybody's personal life. And it is just a thing whereby we have to have, or it's important to have, as far as I'm concerned, difficult conversations to stop unnecessary situations from transpiring, expiring and out of control, getting too big to handle, for example. As humans, we've got to learn how to have conversations with each other. If you're a cat, for example, you don't need to. All you just need to do is just be a cat. Eat food, go to sleep, wake up. One of the easiest sort of existences of any mammal that I can see is being a cat. But as a human being, you've got to put a lot of effort into making the most out of your life. Whether you want a simple life or a complicated life, it does take a lot of effort. And interacting with other people, other human beings, you're going to have to be able to have conversations. And a lot of those conversations are definitely going to be challenging and they're going to take something from you. Now, one thing I do remember from many years back, I had a friend, and anytime he wanted to have a difficult conversation with me or anybody else, he always used to say, "I don't mean to be funny." And if he's watching this, he'll know who I'm talking about. He always used to say, "I don't mean to be funny." And then he'd go into whatever he needs to say to you that is probably going to be challenging. Now, so I would say to you, when you're talking to people that you're going to have an uncomfortable conversation with them, say to them in the outset, "Look, I want to have a difficult or challenging, uncomfortable conversation with you. Is that okay with you?" And if they give you the go-ahead, then it's an opportunity for you to say what you need to say. Obviously, be tactful. Key things, as I always say in most of my talks, is use I statements. Not "I don't like the way you behave." So not that I don't like the way you behave, you do this, you do that, you do that kind of talk. Allegations and slandering, that's just going to get somebody's back up. Just even using I statements is going to be a challenge for them. So don't start saying to them stuff like, "You always do this, blah, 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 blah." You're absolutely going to get nowhere. So, as I said, qualify the conversation before you begin. Try to make it as smooth as possible and check in whether they're ready to receive this conversation, as in ask them specifically. And of course, definitely check on your timings. I've spoke about this before when it comes to conversations in general. Pick your time, late at night, early in the morning, at a bus station, train station, at a busy airport, when you could see that somebody's absolutely like fully tired. What would be the point of trying to have a decent conversation with them then? Doesn't make sense. Now, this is not about just friendships. This is not about personal relationships. This is about all kind of conversations, from your children to your grandparents to your partner. Doesn't really matter. We all have to have difficult, challenging conversations. And it's best, if you're feeling aggrieved, disappointed by somebody else's behavior, that you challenge them on it rather than letting it fester. Okay? It's really, it's better for both parties. So here we go. So look at the FBI. And this is the feelings, behavior, and impact. The potential for behavior to change. Being specific. Thinking about the feelings of the person, the feelings of your behavior, and also the impact, as I've said, on what could happen if there's no change that takes place. So be specific with your words, as I've said. Don't just say that I feel happy, sad, or miserable. Be specific. Say that I'm really frustrated. I've been put on edge. I feel distant from you. These words conjure up far more of a picture for the person you're talking to, rather than just using those basic words: angry, sad, happy. Those are small words. If you want to contact me via my website and ask for the counselling wheel, there's a counselling wheel that talks about emotions, and it breaks down emotions into, I think, 74 different categories. or you could look it up online. It's called the emotional wheel. So you're more descriptive in how you talk and how you think to relate to people. So moving on, we're going to have to look at which behavior made you feel a certain way. When somebody's upset you, look at what behavior it was that made you feel upset, distraught, overwhelmed, whatever it might be, and look for something that's current, something not something that happened a long time ago. Try to look at something that's been recent, and try to be as specific as possible. And don't just like ramble on. Be specific. Stay on point. Say what you've got to say. Say it in a calm way. Don't use any expletives, i.e., don't swear. Yeah, and try your best to stay calm. Okay. And talk about the most upsetting and the most recent thing that's happened to you, and express to the person that if you feel that this is not addressed, that the situation, your relationship with them could be affected. And make it very, very clear to them that the relationship you have with them is important. So that is why you're addressing it. You're not addressing it just for the sake of it, for nitpicking, for being difficult, for being confrontational. You are addressing it because you value the relationship you have with this person, whether business, friend, family, or intimate. This is the reason why you're talking to them about it. Otherwise, you could just let it go. And that, as far as you're concerned, that will lead to uncomfortable situations continuing. And you could have done something about it. You're addressing it. There will always be tension between the two of you if you don't address it. And that's what you're going to try to articulate to the person that you're talking to. And the relationship could definitely fall apart because of that. Make it clear the relationship is very important to you, if it's very important, or if it's not very important, explain that it is important because that's why you're talking about it. So it depends. And you both can learn from this, from the situation. Things can get distorted if you don't talk about them. Obviously, things will go on and on and on and on. And, people start making perceptions of things that are not true. So it's good to make a clear outline of what you feel about any specific situation that you're going with somebody, and say exactly what you mean. Because sometimes, I've learned, as you've probably learned yourself in life, people perceive something to be the case and they're acting on that reality. And of course, two people could be growing apart, perceiving that somebody thinks something else, and they absolutely, categorically don't. So if you state how you feel, then at least that person's got an opportunity to analyze what you're saying, agree, disagree, whatever. But at least they heard it from your mouth, and you can't, deny that you said it because you said it. So that'll be clear. A lot of clarity there. So clear, but having these conversations also, you'll be able to clear the air in lots of situations and realize what triggers you might be triggering the other person. So you're triggering them and they're triggering you back. Miscommunications taking place. And, you could see how it could become a muddy pond in seconds. So turn around to the person, let them know what's going on. And when you finish your sort of points that you've made, definitely listen to their response. Mind you, some responses are not necessarily going to be good to come back straight away. Some people will need time to digest what you've said to them, come back to you in a couple of hours, come back to you in a week, or come back to you in a longer period than that. You can talk about your own insecurities, and we've all got them, because your insecurity is going to be triggered by somebody else saying something about it or referencing it, or maybe not. Maybe you'll perceive that they're referencing it, and it's still going to be a trigger on your insecurity. You can bring that up. Be honest, be congruent. Let the person know where you're at, what you're feeling, how it's affecting you. And as I said, keep saying, and I will keep saying, use I statements. I feel this way. Yeah, not that you done this, you done that. No. That's just going to lead to a lot of argument. And on top of that, that person's going to come back to you with something that they think that you didn't do, and it's just going to, as I said, a muddy pool. That's where it's going to be. Okay. Remember, you're looking for a positive outcome, so you need to listen to their responses. When they are responding, and if they do respond, because as I said, some people might not respond straight away, validate their responses. That will take a lot of tension out of the situation. If you say to somebody, you know what, I totally get where you're coming from, you know, that I didn't really see before you said that, and you give them validation, that validation will take a lot of energy out of the conversation and bring it down to a level that you can communicate and come to a resolution, possibly. And if not, at least the air is cleared and a resolution can possibly come later on down the line. If necessary, you can do a rehearsal with a friend, with my clients. If they're going to have uncomfortable conversations with, let's say, their partner, then I will play the role play and, you know, give them possibly a challenging time in trying to say what they want to say. So at least when they do practice it, they're ready for whatever might come, and they feel far more confident in what they're trying to achieve. Now, this is basically the talk. You know, it's something that we need to learn as humans. And key thing what I also want to say to you is that the more you practice these uncomfortable conversations, the much more articulate, the much more confident you will become. So practice, practice, and practice again, and you'll start to see the results. Now, this is basically the end of the talk. I would like you guys to leave your comments. Tell me what you think of the talk, how you negotiate conflict resolution. I suppose that would be a word that could fit in here. And what tactics you might find that are very beneficial to others to hear or read if you leave your comments. So this is a lovely hot summer's day. You might see me looking a little bit sweaty, but you know what? I do enjoy the summer. So until 2 weeks time, you take care of yourself, try to stay positive, keep topping up that glass, and if you've got things you need to talk about with people, you know, just pick your time. Use the I statements, be descriptive, and you should be able to come to some sort of conclusion or some sort of resolution given time. So until 2 weeks time, take care of yourself. Bye for now.